This is an episode for the writer who wonders if their story is even worth telling. We've been talking a lot over the past few episodes about clarity and purpose in your memoir, but what happens when that imposter syndrome creeps in? While I like to keep Tuesday episodes specifically about writers that I work with and client stories, today I want that writer to be you. I'm speaking directly to and about you today, and I'm looking forward to the breakthroughs that you're going to have. Let's get into it. So for a moment, I want you to think not about your writing or your manuscript, whatever you have on the computer right now, but I want you to think about the events that you're writing about. My guess is that not only have you led yourself through something remarkable, whether that's through a divorce, a death of a loved one, a health scare, a religious transition, a rock bottom moment to a fresh start, but in that moment, those experiences probably didn't feel that remarkable. They probably felt really hard and scary. In our darkest moments, it's really easy to feel inconsequential. We feel small and weak, and the fact that you're here ready to write about it tells me that you were strong enough to make it through and make some meaning from it. But that little whisper of doubt still creeps in. Even though you found meaning from your experiences, it can be easy to wonder if anyone else would. I get that a lot. Maybe you've never written anything before you started trying memoir and you're feeling out of place. Maybe you can't quite figure out what about your story is going to make a reader care, but there's just something in you that tells you that you need to keep doing this. Self-doubt is par for the course in any kind of writing. So if that is what you're feeling, you are in good company. I promise. Just a couple of years ago, I had convinced myself that I had missed my shot at being a writer. Looking back, I can see some of the melodrama in my attitude, but at the time it felt very real. I was just coming out of a stretch of years with very poor mental health where I was just in survival mode and my creativity more or less died. So at age 34, 35, I had really believed that my future as a writer had been voided because I hadn't written anything in a long time, not anything that I really cared about or felt passionately about. But here I am on the other side of that, not only writing my own essay collection, but also I've been writing for magazines. I'm getting published and I'm publishing on my own growing Substack. I bet that you don't have to look too far to find a moment where you felt inadequate as a writer. And part of what I do as an editor is to support that emotional, mental aspect of writing. I want to be here to help you know, yes, what you're doing is important, to be a cheerleader and a note of encouragement for you. I want to be your reminder that what you do is important. My greatest job as your editor is to remind you that your story matters when that doubt starts to creep in. So whatever story it is that you're writing, it's very important. And there's a reader out there who's waiting for you to write it. Today's episode, I'm realizing it's sort of a pep talk. I think we all need that every now and then. And so I want you to know also that you are not behind. I know it's really easy to feel like you should be further along than you are. Maybe you've been working on your memoir for only a year or two, maybe a couple months, maybe like 10 years. I've worked with writers who have been working on their manuscript for a decade. And so it can be really easy to feel like you are behind. I want to tell you that you're not. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. And you are exactly the writer that your reader needs right now. Writing is a long game with many moving parts, many of which are outside of the actual manuscript. Actually, writing and publishing memoir is not just about the manuscript. That's a different conversation. But to play this game confidently, you get to start with your own inner conviction that what you're building as an author and a storyteller is really important. If you don't believe that, you won't get far. I know I said just a second ago that my greatest job as an editor is to remind you that your story matters. And yes, I'm here to do that for you, but I can't convince you. You are the one who has to believe that. You are the one who has to ground yourself in that conviction. I'm here to encourage you and cheer you on and show you your blind spots and help you improve and streamline your manuscript. But if you don't believe that your story is important, you're not going to get very far. And there's only so much cheerleading I can do if you don't actually believe that yourself. But once you are grounded in the belief that your story matters, then you can figure out why it specifically matters to your reader. First, you ground yourself in your own conviction, and then you can start to think outward. Think about your reader and why your story is going to matter to them. I know you think that you're stuck on the structure or the flow or the syntax or the writing, but chances are you're actually lacking clarity on why your memoir is relevant to your reader. We don't always think about the reader on the other side. And in memoir, that's critical. It's critical for just about every type of writing, but with memoir, where you really have to know what you're trying to say with your story, you do have to know who you're trying to say it to. Once you've decided to take yourself seriously as a writer, you get to start taking yourself seriously as an editor as well. This is a perspective and a lens and a mindset that is really important as an author. You get to jump back and forth between the writer version of you, who is pouring her words out onto the page, and the editor version of you, who is making sure that what you're writing and editing has point. Both are very important to the process. Once you figure out that editor version of yourself, you start building momentum in your manuscript. This is where things really get going. You'll know how to spend your writing time. You'll start to cultivate an objective lens as an editor, and you'll start to build your platform as an author. All of this is going to start coalescing into something that feels really, really good to you. Embodying who you can be as an author, a writer who writes for a reader, then everything about your writing experience will shift. And you'll have breakthroughs that are going to clear up the fog in your writing and help you clearly see what your reader needs and how you can actually help them. This transformation is really at the core of what I do with my clients, and it's what I dive deep into inside of my Memoir Method program. I have run this before a couple years ago, and I have revamped, expanded, and leveled up this experience. Enrollment will be starting in just a couple of weeks, but for now, keep your eyes peeled for a free secret podcast that I have coming out that will take you behind the scenes of this program and why it works. Hop onto my email list through the link in the show notes, and you'll be the first to know when the secret podcast is ready for your ears. I'm very excited about it. As I've been creating this new version of this program, I'm realizing that this is so much more than just about your story. This is about you stepping into who you get to be as an author. What I teach in this program is going to give you the skills and the tools that you need to take you from your messy manuscript that you have now through to publication, through to marketing, through to being an author, because that's what you want. You want to be an author, a published author, and I get to help you with that. And I'm so excited. I love it. I'm obsessed with this program, and I'm really excited for this secret podcast, totally free, that's coming to your earbuds in just a couple of weeks. So stay tuned. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time.